Hey, good afternoon. Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple of minutes. You guys know how I do it. Happy Friday to everybody. I do these daily check-ins daily around noon, somewhere around there. I'm a little late today, I understand, but I got caught up doing some stuff. In fact, I'm still doing some stuff now, so I'm just making sure that I am live on the platforms I'm supposed to be live on. But happy Super Bowl Super Bowl Friday? Is that a term that we use? I don't know, but maybe it is, maybe it's not, maybe it should be, right? So happy Super Bowl Friday. Hope you guys are waiting for the game. You know, this is the Friday before Super Bowl. Everybody's excited. Got your picks. You know, everybody's done the pools. You know, the job pools that are supposed to be illegal, but we always do them. You know what I mean? Isn't that part of gambling, right? And that's one of the rules, you know, in the SOPs, no gambling. But we always manage to have a pool, right? So anyway, I miss those kind of things, right? I miss that. So okay, I'm just looking at a text message. But anyway, hope you guys are. No, I said that already. I'm not gonna keep saying hope you guys are doing well. But anyway, happy Friday to everybody. I'm in LA, so weather has been cooperative, been nice, been great, been sunny. Little clouds still lingering around, but everything is all good, right? So no more rain. I was just seeing some of the, I guess, the after effects of the flood and things like that in this area that we used to live in. Man, and I used to live on a kind of a hill, you know, not a mountain, but a hill. And some of the hill is eroding because of the rain, right? And I saw that, you know, everybody put anything on TikTok, right? So I happened to see that on TikTok. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I lived around not around the corner, but in the same neighborhood as this, where this erosion of the hill, you know, started. So yeah, so I mean, it's rain is something else, right? So rain and water consecutive, and I guess we got like 10 to 12 inches or something like that. So always the making for something not good. But anyway, other than that, everything else is good here in LA. Okay, so weather is good. Weather's been cooperating. So there you go. There you go. So the comments are on. So make your comments. I do have a topic that I always talk about, right? So the daily check-in is not just me spewing out information that that I want to hear. You know, no one else wants to hear. No, it's not like that, right? It's about information that affects, hotels or the meeting industry and things like that. Meeting planners, people that work in hotels, hotel site selection people like myself, um, operations of hotels, sales related. You know, I came from operations and from sales. I spend more time in sales than operations, but I understand operations and how it all works. I was a general manager. I started off as a housekeeping manager and everything in between, right? So some food and beverage, some front office. I was an AGM. I was a GM. I was a director of sales and marketing. All that kind of stuff kind of rolled into 14 different hotels and 25 to 30 years of experience, right? Yeah, and I know I'm not that old, but I still have that much experience. Okay, all right. So, all right, I don't want to. We don't talk about that anymore. But let's see. So, like I said, always have an agenda, and I'm always showing for the most part. Well, most days I didn't yesterday, but most of the time I'm showing hotels that I've been to that I've experienced. Today's no exception. So you'll see hotels as I change scenes. You'll see different hotels. I mean, different parts of a hotel. It could be the same hotel, but just different parts. I mean, this is a patio area, obviously, with a fire pit and all that kind of stuff. The AC Hotel in Greenville, South Carolina. So you'll see things like that. As I change scenes, you will see the different hotels that I've experienced. And I will never, and I always say this, I never show. I had this conversation with someone the other day who was interested in coming on and as a guest, right? And he said, well, what's the deal with the pictures and the videos in the background? And I explained it just like I explained to you, right? And I said, he said, well, can I send you some photos of my hotel and I'll show. I said, I'll never show a hotel that I never experienced for myself, right? So I think that's cheating, right? So if I showed hotels that I never been to before, what credibility is that giving me? You know what I mean? So no, I said no, I don't do that. I would have to come and experience your hotel for myself, and then I will gladly put those videos or still pictures or photos on on a show like this or on a live, or I post certain things as far as my content creating and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. So if you see anything on here, that means I've been there. I've experienced it. Aloha, Craig. Hope you are well, my friend. Let me just make sure I put that in there. So, hey, feel free to make comments just like Craig just did, and I put them on the screen here so the world can see. So, no, but I appreciate engagement. I appreciate all that kind of stuff, right? So, because this was all about, it's not just about me talking, it's about you guys being engaged. Ask me questions or whatever. Just let me know where you are, right? Just that you're there. Yeah, I'm doing well, Craig. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to you. I was saying that this is Super Bowl Friday, so everybody's getting ready to, fire up the grills and make food that they never made before, just to try it, for their friends to come over and partake, things like that. We're getting, I need to stock my bar, that kind of stuff. We need to do all that kind of stuff for Super Bowl. But no, I'm supposedly meeting some friends at the Proud Bird. Yeah, the Proud Bird. You guys been to the Proud Bird? That's in LA. It's right next to the airport, right? So I'll just tell you this: it's the closest that you can get to flights coming in, okay, and not be illegal, okay, not be on airport property, right? So the Proud Bird, I want to say it sits on aviation, and the planes are two of the runways. Now, for people that don't know this, LAX is the major airport in Los Angeles, right? So there's four runways, right? But in the middle, it goes two, and then the airport, and then two on the other side, right? So the Proud Bird sits under one of those runways, and I want to say it's the first one. So you'll see a lot of the planes that are coming in, and I'm talking maybe 10, 20 feet over your head, right? So it's probably the best place to see, planes coming in from wherever they come, right? So if you're ever near LAX, you got some time you want to kill or whatever, you want to check out some history, because there's a lot of aviation history out of the Proud Bird. In fact, they display a lot of things within there. It's kind of like a little museum, right? And it's a restaurant, bar, all that kind of stuff. But LA is unique to the, I guess, the defense contractor industry, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, all those companies, McDonnell Douglas, all those got their start in LA, right? So Boeing and they built their planes in LA, right? So there's a lot of aviation history in LA. A lot of people don't even know that, right? But the Proud Bird is one of those. It was a restaurant, and they have meeting space and stuff like that. They're actually going to tear it down a couple of years ago, but I guess they said they deemed it as a historical landmark, and they have replicas, or no, I think these are real planes that are, they've been gutted out, no engine and things like that, but they're on display there. I mean, you get like a P-51 Mustang, you get a Corsair, things that were used in World War II. I think it's kind of dope, right? So it's kind of like a museum, little small place, but a lot of people forget about it, right? So check it out. So that's where I'm going for Super Bowl. I said all that to say we're going to meet at the Proud Bird for Super Bowl, right? Because they have TVs, they have a bar, they have food, all that kind of stuff. So that's where I'm going to be. So you're going to come and check us out, then come on over. Come on by, But anyway, let me just make sure I put these comments on here. Craig says, join us for Friday night. Yeah, of course. There you go. So Friday night audit at 2 p.m. Craig, make sure you check out that. Craig and Glenn Hausman will be on that. So no, I'm happy to put that on there. And then I see Mr. Jim Schichter. Hey, Craig, good to see you. Hey, Russell, looking good. You know what? I tried, Jim. Okay, I tried. So thank you very much. You know what Craig, myself, and Jim have in common? We all worked for Brighton Hotels at one time, right? I don't know if at the same time. Craig and Jim and I had worked, of course, at the same time, but I don't think Craig was there when we worked there. But that's what we have in common, right? So isn't that great? Isn't that a good thing? Happy Lunar New Year tomorrow. And you know what that means? What does that mean? Does that mean that the Chiefs are going to win? Hopefully that means the Chiefs are going to win. So I'm not sure, but let me know what that means, Craig, please. Let's see. What other comment? Van Nuys Airport has an observation spot as well. I did not know that, Craig. See? Did not know that. I have to look that up. I just happen to know it's the Proud Bird because the Proud Bird is not too far from where I live. And I used to work at LAX, so that's kind of why I know that. But yeah, so that'd be a good place to go too. But is there a bar and all that kind of stuff? Is it a restaurant? You can and a little park outside for the kids to go out and play and see the planes coming in. Like I said, that is the closest that any major airport that you can get to. You almost touch the planes as they're coming in. So, Chris Black, cousin, how are you doing, sir? Yes, yes, yes. Hope all is well out there in Vegas. I understand you guys didn't get a lot of rain, but you got a lot of excitement going on this weekend. So you guys stay safe out there. And I know Super Bowl gets crazy. It got crazy. Well, Vegas is already crazy anyway, but throw a Super Bowl in there and see how crazy it gets. So I couldn't even imagine being there. They could have offered me free tickets to that game, and I wouldn't go. So, but no one offered me free tickets, so there you go. But I definitely would not go. So, California and Broughton hotels, yes, yes, yes. And then all FF and E. I'm getting so many comments here. All the FF and E products go back to into production for the hotels. And then Chris says, yes, sir. Okay. So, all right. So there you go. Okay. So I'm getting through the comments, because like I said, it's all about the engagement with me, right? So I'm going to take some time and make sure I recognize the people that are coming on and make sure I put their comments on there as well. But like I said, I always come on here, not just for the engagement, but I also have something I always like to talk about. So, selecting a destination. So the question or the topic of the day is selecting a destination for your next meeting or conference. What to consider? Okay, where did this come from? Everything has a reason. It doesn't just, I don't just pull these things out of my butt, Well, sometimes I do, right? But today is something, I saw something, I read something, I said, that's interesting. So it had to do with meetings going to second and third tier cities or destinations, right? And I've been talking about that for a while. I've been talking about that since COVID, because what happened during COVID is that after COVID kind of subsided, or it didn't go away, it's never going to go away, right? But after people got back to doing business, right, the meetings that were canceled or carried over to the next year, there was a run on, okay, we need this location, we need to sign these contracts because we need to have these meetings because we haven't had meetings in a year, right? So everybody was rushing to the popular destinations, right, which opened the door for your second, third, fourth, fifth tier cities, or third, fourth, fifth tier destinations. I say cities and destinations, that should be interchangeable, but for whatever reason I separate them. Cities/destinations. Okay. But anyway, you get what I'm talking about, right? So there was a run because a lot of the popular destinations were booked up because they wanted those popular destinations, which like I said, opened the door for people to start experiencing or having meetings at these third and fourth tier destinations, like a Greenville, South Carolina, right? So that's got to be a third or fourth tier city. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's there. It's definitely not a 1 or a 2, right? So it's got to be 3, 2 or 5, but it doesn't matter, right? But what do you consider when you have meetings in these particular destinations? There's certain things you should consider any destination, but when it comes to the ones that are not as popular, you want to make sure you consider these things. So I'm gonna go through a couple of things. I mean, I had a list of about 12. I think I whittled that down to 6 because I don't want to take everybody's time, right? So, but let me see any comments before I jump into that. Craig is laughing, of course. Saw that article. It was good. Yes. See, obviously we read from the same publications, Craig. So, great minds think alike, right? So, but yeah, so I saw that. I'm like, you know what? Not that I didn't have anything else to talk about, but I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about that because I had just mentioned this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that I talked about. It was probably 3 weeks ago because that's when I was in South Carolina, right? I'm like, don't sleep on these destinations, right? Don't sleep on the third and fourth tier destination. And then I think Jim brought up Charleston, North Carolina, and things like that, right? Is it Charleston, North Carolina, or Charleston? No, South Carolina, right? It's still in South Carolina. So he mentioned that, and I said, you're absolutely right, because these cities have a unique vibe, a unique flavor that the big cities don't have. The only issues that you come across, how many hotels do they have? How much meeting space do they have? Especially if you're trying to do larger conventions or conferences. But for the smaller ones, some of these destinations we look at them as being smaller cities, but they have convention centers, right? I'm like, how? Why does? And I was thinking to myself, like, why does Greenville, South Carolina, have a 550,000 square foot convention center? Because they do a lot of shows. They do like a lot of boat shows, exhibitions, all this kind of stuff, right? So people have seen that, and some companies are actually. I think BMW is actually based. Part of BMW is based in that area, right? So there's a lot of things that we don't even know about. We're just like, oh, that's interesting. Huh? Why do people go there? Well, there's a reason why, but we need to consider those cities because they can come out to be cheaper, okay, less expensive. So I mean, yeah, but you got to do your homework. So what do you need to do before you start saying, okay, I do to one of these destinations? Let me just put Craig's comment up here. Convenience getting to that third or fourth tier area meeting, space breakout meetings, space food, and so much more to be considered. Oh yeah, definitely. I got a whole list, Craig. Bear with me, buddy. So, but yeah, no, you definitely need to consider a lot of those things. Accessibility. I didn't mean to scream, but accessibility. I said accessibility. Evaluate the destination's accessibility by air, rail, and road. Consider the proximity of airports and transportation options available for attendees traveling to the location. Yeah, you got to make sure the airlift is tight, meaning the airlift is good going in and out. How many connections do you have to make to get there, right? Because you can lose people based on that. Like, I'm not going there. I got to make 4 connections. No, I'm not doing that, right? So from here to South Carolina I had to fly into Atlanta and then Atlanta to South Carolina. But most people, I would say probably 80% of the people I talked to, 80-90% of the people I talked to, they had a connection somewhere, right? So it didn't matter how big the city they were flying out of, they had to have a connection somewhere. Okay, there's no direct flights to some of these cities. Okay, so it just isn't. Okay, but just those are things that you just need to consider. What about accommodation options? Assess the availability and variety of accommodations, including hotels, resorts, and alternative lodging options like vacation rentals or boutique properties. Ensure that there are enough rooms to accommodate all attendees and that the accommodations meet the desired standards of quality and comfort. Yeah, you don't want to no one wants to stay in a bunch of Motel 6s. Although Motel 6s are great, don't get me wrong. I always say this, there's a hotel for every group and there's a group for every hotel. Okay, so Motel 6s, yeah, but every group may not want to stay there, right? So if it's like a whole chain, a whole city of Motel 6s, well, maybe that's not right for your insurance company that's coming there. Okay, so you may want to you got to think about those. You have to assess that against another destination. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Meeting facilities. Look for suitable meeting venues and conference facilities capable of accommodating the size and requirements of your event. Consider factors such as meeting room capacity, audiovisual equipment, and technology infrastructure. Yeah, do they got Wi-Fi? Does it work? Okay, are they used to that? Are they used to having meetings? Ask for the history of that particular hotel. What groups have they had in the past? Have they had issues with connection, Wi-Fi, things like that? Do they have a reputable audiovisual company? Do they have one in-house? Ask them questions. Do they have to bring someone in from the outside? Well, there could be a cost for that as well, right? So you got to ask the right questions in order to make sure this destination is suitable for your group. Okay, so if it's a high tech, like I'm just gonna throw, just any kind of company that's dealing with, internet and things like that, wireless internet. It seems like everybody needs that, right? Even if you're not doing it in your meetings, people when they get to their guest rooms, they want to make sure there's enough bandwidth to do more than just checking email. Maybe they're streaming things. Maybe they're doing conference calls or whatever, Zoom calls or whatever. They want to make sure that that they're not going to get cut off during that, because that does happen, right? I always do the upgrade. So wherever I go, because I'm always doing a live or whatever, and I don't want it to I don't want to be compromised, right? So I'll pay for the whatever that additional thing is, like $20 a day, and I'll get my own dedicated thing. I don't want to be on the Wi-Fi with everyone else. Because in hotels, that free Wi-Fi they give, you're sharing that with everyone else, right? A lot of people don't even know that, and then they wonder why it's slow. Well, the Wi-Fi is not, it's too slow, right? I can't download anything. Well, no, and it's not made for that. And you're sharing, if it's a 300-room hotel, guess what? And it's full and the hotel's sold out, you're sharing your Wi-Fi with 300 other people. Now, that's just only if they only have one device. How many people travel with one device? We got an average of two, maybe three. Right? I travel with a laptop, my iPad, and my phone. That's three devices that I'm hooking up for free, right? That's the free Wi-Fi. Well, just think of that. Everyone else is doing that as well. So there you go. So that I just gave you a little insight what hotels do, right? They don't tell you all that, right? So just pay the extra, and that way you almost have your own dedicated whatever. So where else was I? Okay, so I said meeting facilities, attractions, and activities. Explore the destination's attractions, entertainment options, and recreational activities available for attendees during leisure time. Not everybody wants to keep working, 24/7. We got to have some fun too while we're doing these conferences, right? Consider cultural landmarks, outdoor adventures, dining options, and local events that can enhance the overall attendee experience. Yeah, you don't know what else is going on. You want to clear your mind, go out. Maybe I'll just go walk around. Is the downtown walkable? Is it safe? Those are things you have to consider, right? Are there many restaurants? Are there zip lines somewhere that for the more adventurous people? Is there a lake? Maybe they want to go for a boat ride. I don't know. I'm just using that stuff, using those as example. Horseback riding, because when I was in South Carolina, they had several different activities, right? Rope climbing, horseback riding, a city tour. I did the meeting planning. What's called meeting planning something. I can't remember. But it was basically for meeting planners that wanted to see the other hotels, right? The convention center and things like that. That's the activity that I wanted to do, right? Because I wanted to see other hotels. That's what I was there to do, right? I actually have clients that want to be in that part of the country, so it behooved me to go out and see those things. Rope climbing, I can do that another time. And plus, that ain't the time and place for me to get hurt, okay, to potentially get hurt, right? So I'm not doing that on a business trip, okay? Let me get hurt on vacation, okay? Oh, man, that was a good one. So, okay, hold on one second. I see some comments coming here. Let's see. Craig says, gotta roll, Russell. Show prep. Yes, sir. Get ready for Friday night audit. So, so thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate you coming on. My best to you and Glenn. Keep it going. And then he said, what else he say? 2 only. I dumped the notebook iPad with Magic Key. Way to go. See, that's true, right? So you got 2, right? So that's 2 devices that you travel with all the time. So you're sharing that with everybody else in the hotel. So there you go. I see Robert Kraus. What's up, Robert? ESP. If you're in Vegas, not in Vegas. I shy away from Vegas during busy times. So, but thank you. Have a good time if you're there, though. Let's see. I see Skip. What up, homie? Clearing my mind and riding zip lines. No, I'm not doing all that. No, wasn't doing all that. You want to clear your mind. Definitely want to do that, but zip lining, no, I don't think I'm going to do that, but yeah, thank you. Because what happens there stays there. Yes. Very good, very good. I did the freeze your ass off and say, oh, okay, you did that. Okay, see, I wasn't, no. All right. What did I do? I did the meeting planning excursion. It was called something. It had a name. I can't remember what it was called. Meeting planning. God, I can't remember what it was called, but it's kind of a clever name. It's a clever name. I see cousin Akila. What's going on, Akila? I hope all is well. You still up north? You still up in the Bay? Good seeing you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's a small world. Skip, what's a small world? It's a small world. What was that? I don't get that. What does that mean? I'm trying to understand that. But anyway, Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. Local support and services. Okay, these are selecting. This is all about selecting a destination for a meeting or conference. What to consider, right? So I'm specifically talking about or targeting like third, fourth tier cities, right? Third or fourth, third or fourth tier destinations, like a Greenville, South Carolina. You know, things, places like that, like Des Moines, Iowa, Oklahoma City. You know, those places that people don't you don't think about when it comes to meetings. Although they do quite a few meetings, right? But we don't think about Madison, Wisconsin, you know, things like that that we don't think about as heavy on meetings. But so it doesn't really matter what tier city they are. It's just that these are things that you should consider regardless where you're going to, right? Local support and services. But primarily when you're going to the smaller ones, you do want to really consider these things. So local support services, evaluate the availability of local vendors and support services, such as event planners, caterers, transportation providers, and audiovisual suppliers. Ensure that reliable and experienced service providers are accessible to assist with event logistics. Yeah, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that they exist, right? And they're able to assist you. They're not doing other things. I mean, those are things you want to make sure that you have that support before you say, okay, I'm all in. We're going to this destination. And then, you know, and always have a backup plan. So what if they don't show up? Is there another one? You want to make sure there's multiple AV companies, not just one, because then you're throwing all your eggs in one basket and you're like, oh crap, they can't show up. They can't get here. What's going on? What am I going to do now? So you want to make sure if you need to travel with an expert on AV or technology or whatever that is, then you need to do that, especially if the success of your meeting depends on audiovisual or technology. You know, you want to make sure you travel with an expert, or at least there's some vendor that's there that can assist you. Okay, so those are things that we need to consider. There was something else that I was going to. Safety and security is always a big deal. I know I didn't have it on there, but safety and security would be another one. Prioritize the safety and security of attendees by researching the destination's crime rate, public health measures, and emergency response capabilities. Choose destination with a reputation for safety and take necessary precautions to mitigate risk. So yeah, because you're basically, you know, people are putting, you know, your expertise in their hands, right? So you want to make sure that you've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's before you say, hey, we're going to this destination, right? Because people are coming here because you're the one that's inviting these people to come, right? So just make sure that we're doing our homework before we do that. So, but I love the smaller destinations. You know, they always have something unique about them. If that's the food, if that's just how you feel, how you're made to feel, whatever that is, you know, that sense of hospitality, the weather, you know, can be different, whatever it is, right? So this last year I went to, well, just a couple of weeks ago, of course, I was in South Carolina, never been there before. Last year I was in New England, had never been to New England before. So experienced that vibe and their culture and the food that they have. I mean, all that kind of stuff it's kind of cool, right? I mean, we always leave the United States and go to other destinations. Well, there's a lot of things here that a lot of people haven't experienced either. So I just get a kick out of travel. Okay, so there you go. So Robert says, let's see. I see 2 comments from Robert. Be careful in places like Asheville. Many places are far out, like 30, 40 minutes from the airport. You cannot get Uber, Lyft, or bus. You need to rent a car. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. See, sometimes we get spoiled when we go to these things because, you know, we have transportation, we have all that stuff, right? So, and it's there. When I flew in, you know, there's a guy with a sign, hey, Russell, you know, here, you know, go this way, you know, for the bus and all that kind of stuff, or the transportation. So, you know, it works out for us, but we got to put our we got to put our feet in someone else's shoes for attendees, because of course we're treated a little differently than just your typical attendee, although we were attendees, but we come in as meeting planners and some of these things are going to be in place already, right? So the same things that were in place for us, we got to make sure these things are in place for our attendees. So good point on that. Is it easy to get a Lyft and Uber? Okay. And is it expensive? Okay, that's a good thing. Transportation. Do we have enough transportation? And a lot of this information can come from where? Where can we get this information? Who will help us do this? Your local CVB or DMO, Convention and Visitors Bureau. Most destinations and city have their own rendition of a tourism board or a Convention and Visitors Bureau or tourism bureau or a DMO, Destination Marketing Organization. Wherever they call it, it's all interchangeable, but they will be the one that will let you know these are transportation companies. These are a lot of restaurants that are downtown. Oh, it's very walkable, blah, 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 whatever. The lift coming in, they will be able to let you know all that information beforehand, if it's even being considered, before you even get to that point. Contact your CVB first and let them give you all the information about that destination, okay? Because some people will just go blindly because they don't know that, start with the CVB. That's what they're there to do. They're paid to do that. And guess what? Their services don't cost you a nickel, a dime, a penny. Okay, so that's where I start. Anything that what do I do? Anything that I send, what is it called? I can't even think of what I'm thinking. I'm lost. Anytime I send out an RFP, I'm sending it to the CVB first, okay? At least I'm copying them on it when I'm sourcing something. So when I'm sourcing a program, I'm going to source it to them first and ask them for help on certain things, right? So if that's transportation, based on what my client wants from me, right? If they just need the hotel, whatever, I'm still going to copy them on it. But when it comes to like transportation or maybe, activities and things like that, that I have no knowledge that this particular destination has this, call up your CVB rep and say, hey, we think about doing like a cooking show or something like that. We want like 20 of our people to do this cooking show. Can you help us do that? Yeah, we do this at this particular hotel or this venue or this spot or whatever. Oh yeah, that's so popular. Oh yeah, we do all that. So, but they're the ones that will let you know that stuff. So there you go. Let's see, what else? What else did Robert say? Check Google Street View. If the parking lot of a hotel is behind barbed wire due to theft, that may not be a place to stay. That's a good point. Good job, Robert. Okay, Robert coming up with some stuff here. So let me put that up there again one more time, Robert. So yeah, check Google Street View. That makes all the sense in the world. I mean, we have so much technology at our fingertips, right? Why not do that to make sure you can see an aerial view of what's going on? You can come down and look like, oh my God, okay, is that barbed wire on the fence? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so yeah, you definitely want to do that. So Robert, thank you so much for those comments. And I see that's what it's all about. It's all about the engagement, and I appreciate that. So make sure you guys, it's serious when it comes to this. So I'm making jokes about it, but when we're planning, events and you're trying to find hotels and things like that. So those are things you have to consider. Safety and security is the utmost importance, right? So I don't want to send someone to a destination. Well, the destination is normally selected for me. I'm just looking for the hotel. But within that destination, my job is to make sure that this is a safe option. Okay, so if I'm going to come up with these hotels, I need to make sure I'm doing my homework, my due diligence, and making sure that these are safe hotels, right? There's no issues. And sometimes you got to add, sometimes the hotel won't tell you everything, right? So sometimes that's when you get your CVB involved. CVB they're not supposed to be partial to any property, right? They're supposed to sell the entire destination. But I need reports on what's going on in that destination. What's being impacted? If there's some type of crime going on, what's being impacted? What areas are being impacted? Is it downtown? Is it, residential district? It wouldn't affect us. What is it? Because there's some destinations out there that have a lot of things going on, but it may not have anything to do with some of the hotels, okay? Maybe nothing has been happening at the hotels, maybe in the city as a whole, but those things you need to be aware of before you, give the stuff back to your client like, hey, everything's good, make it happen. No, if you find out something, let your client know. That's one thing that I make sure I do is share everything with my client. Any correspondence that I get via email, I'm copying my client on there, right? If they want it or not, they have to tell me. I don't want that. Why are you sending me all this stuff? Why am I getting copied on this? Because I want them to be aware that I'm not hiding. I'm not holding anything back. Okay, so whatever that is, they already know. I'm always upfront. They already know I get a commission from the hotel, right? So even if the client is paying me whatever a sourcing fee or whatever, I'm letting them know that I'm still getting commission from the hotel as well. Okay, because I don't want anything coming up later on saying, hey, we're paying you too. You're getting too much money. Well, what do you mean I'm getting too much money? Okay, so anyway, but I mean, that's your issue. That's your issue. But make sure you are upfront with whatever's going on. Be transparent. Okay, that's all I'm saying, and that it keep you out of trouble. Okay, keep you out of trouble. Keep you safe. You can save face too. Okay, so well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me you're getting commission from the hotel and they're paying you X amount of money, dollars for doing this, for bringing this business to them. I could have done that. Believe me, I've heard it all. So that's why I'm sharing this information. I've heard it all. That's why going forward, this has been a couple of years ago, but going forward, I always share this information. Hey, by the way, yeah, I'm charging you this, but just so you know, I am also getting that for bringing this business to them. So there you go. Okay, there you go. So just make sure you are aware of what's going on and let them aware of what's going on as well. So that's it, right? So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. I'm all about information. I'm all about being a resource. So feel free to always reach out in touch if you have questions at all. Russell at russellofhotels.com. That is my email address. I do answer my emails. If you want to slide into my DMs, does that sound right? Slide into my DMs? Yeah, if you want to slide into my DMs, yeah, it must sound right. Everybody's using that term, right? So, so yeah, feel free. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. So whatever you see me, whatever platform you see me on, and you have questions for me, feel free to do that. Go to my website, russellofhotels.com. My email is there, as well as my phone number. So if you have questions at all, my phone number is there. So if anyone says, oh, I can't get a hold of you, well, you're lying, because I'm accessible. I'm giving you all the information out there to get in touch with me. If you have questions about some of the stuff I'm talking about, if you need assistance with something, if that's hotel site selection, if that's content creating for your hotel or your hospitality entity, whatever that is, I'm here to assist, right? So there you go. So hopefully this was good for someone. It must have been, because I got so many comments and people chiming in. I appreciate that, right? So I like to be, that avenue or that vehicle or that platform for people to come on and, say what they have to say, right? Within reason, right? Let's don't get crazy. Okay. But anyway, that's it. Once again, happy Friday, happy Super Bowl Friday to everybody. I hope your team wins, whoever that is. I'm going for the Chiefs. Okay, Kansas City, here we come. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. So that's it. So everybody in California, oh yeah, we want the California teams to win. No, Northern California is like another state. Okay, I'm in Southern California, right? NorCal, SoCal, no, I'm not getting down like that. I live in Southern Cal. Okay, so if it was a Southern California team going, maybe, I don't know. I still don't even know, because it depends, right? But no, I'm not a 49er fan anyway. I've never been a 49er fan. So even when they're winning, you know what I mean? But that's another story, right? I'm, give me the Midwest. Give me, give me Kansas City. Okay, let's go. I'm going with them. That's what I'm riding with. I mean, originally that's not who I wanted to win, but this process of elimination, that's the best team for me at this point, right? So definitely, I was just talking to someone a little while ago, right? And I asked him, who do you want to win? He said, well, I'm going for San Francisco, right? And I said, well, he said, my team hasn't been in it, and they don't look like they're going to be in it anytime soon. And I said, who's at the Raiders? He said, how'd you know? I said, I had a 50-50 chance. Either it's the Raiders or the Cowboys. Okay, that's it, right? So anybody that makes a comment like that, my team hasn't been in a long time, it's got to be the Raiders or the Cowboys, right? Both teams suck. But anyway, that's I didn't mean to get into that, right? Because, I didn't mean to say that. But yeah, I did. But anyway, so you guys have a great day, great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday for the Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels. So